Hi everyone, this is Menz here. I'm doing a small M3 Lee guide today. A lot of people have trouble with this tank only because it's more of a tank destroyer. Since you only get to use this gun, you can't use any of the top turrets. But what the M3 Lee does have, it has decent armor. You do start out with 51mm on most of the front. You do have a little bit weaker armor as you get down to the bottom of the tank, but overall against tier 3s and some tier 4s your frontal armor is okay, and the top gun on it isn't that bad either. You have a really good rate of fire and damage, and the penetration isn't too bad, so it allows you to deal with tier 5 tanks pretty easily, and with tier 6s I do carry a bit of APCR to deal with them. So the main upside of this tank is you get a bit better firepower than your peers, only because you're stuck with this little side mounted gun here that can't really turn at all. It can turn a little bit left and right, but overall you're more of a tank destroyer, not a medium tank. And the other upside is your armor is decent for a medium tank at tier 4, and the downsides are your lack of a turret. But the main one that I find is when you're cresting a hill, since your main gun's so low, this huge upper half sticks out above the hill, so people who can penetrate that 51mm of armor, unless if they hit these little ones that are a little bit less armored, will basically get one if not two shots on you even before you crest the hill. So that can be a little bit of a downside, especially if you're against 5s or 6s where one shot can ruin your day. So I'm gonna hop in here into a match. I'm against KV1s, which do give the Lee a little bit of trouble because you know, you can't really use AP against them from far out as you would like to. You have to swap over to APCR, and even that is a little iffy at range. So I'm not going to sit at the base for too long. I'm going to, since Mount Ofka, I'm going to back off a little bit and see if anybody spots anyone to get a few quick shots off.
Let's go!
The trick to the Lee is, unless if you're one of the only tier 4s in a match, you kind of want to play a little bit like a tank destroyer, like I've said before, only because you can die really quickly because you have a bit of a large profile, and people, for whatever reason, just like to pick on M3 Lees.
Enemy armor is destroyed.
See if I can't get a couple shots on this Matilda. There we go. Okay, so now this thing is pretty decently mobile, so I'm gonna move over to the hill, especially because we don't have many people here. There's just that 820 up in front. Okay, so yeah, I was about to say, what the hell is that TD doing crossing there? Now, I'm not too concerned about actually getting up on the hill, only because I'm gonna go up there to begin with, but if we encounter too many people, I'm not gonna try to push down at them, only because if you crest the hill over in B0 at people who are lower than you, then comes in that the trouble of actually people being able to shoot you with those top turrets sticking out.
Penetration.
Okay, so I'm actually gonna go down low here, just to see if I can't forego going up on the hill. We have 3 tanks up there, which should be enough. This little route here I like to use in any kind of match with any kind of tank. As long as if you're not too slow, you usually can get by without taking much damage, if any. And as you can see, I did struggle penning that T1 from the side. And T1s are a little tougher from the side than most tanks, but you do struggle a little bit with heavy tanks with the penetration at tier 4. Let's hope that nobody's going to be behind me.
Enemy armor is hit. Bail out.
Ooh, crap. Oh, I knew there was a tank behind me, but I didn't know he had a derp gun. I thought I would have been able to take 1 hit, but I guess not. So that kind of shows one of the negatives of the M3 Lee is you can be one-shotted by quite a few tier 5 and 6 tanks, but that was just me not really playing as smart as I should have been. But overall, our team's still going to get a victory here. The enemy kind of gave it right to us. Okay guys, let's hurry up and finish this KV1. So overall, not the best game, but could have did a little worse. I racked up 2 kills, and 3rd class isn't too bad. But as you see here, didn't do too much damage, and I got one-shotted. So I'm actually going to hop in one more battle here, see if I can't show off a little bit different gameplay from the M3 Lee. Okay, so another hilly map. I never like going over to this side, only because you can be shot from over here, here, everywhere. So I'm actually gonna drive up here most likely, just so I can be on level ground and help out the main section here. If you lose this part of your team, you're pretty screwed in my opinion. It's pretty hard to win if you own the 7-0 line with your medium tanks and you lose the upper half where the enemy's heavy tanks usually are. And for whatever reason, we have that PZ and the Matilda coming over our way, so we're definitely going to be a little light up there. Holy fucking shit. And one of our TDs suicided.
Penetration. damaged.
Need to use APCR for this Churchill.
Got him. Enemy is hit.
But I don't want to get too close, only because I can die pretty quickly if people actually get close enough to get a few shots in. But it looks like we have them slightly outnumbered here, so I'm actually gonna dive in and help this KV-1 out.
That one didn't go through. Enemy is hit.
Yeah, let's get this BDR out quickly, and then since I still have a bit of HP, 310's full for me, but it's not exactly that high if I start getting shot. I'm gonna play a little bit more aggressively.
Enemy on bail out. This vehicle
Okay,
is at it.
so I didn't exactly expect the TD to shoot me. I thought it was just the M4 there, but that T1's over there as well. So that's 2 games in a row that I've made a stupid mistake. But it just goes to show you that the M3 Lee's, as you see, is really good, as you kind of sit back a little bit if you're not the top dog, like one of the only tier 4s in the match. You just want to use your really good gun for a tier 4 to kind of support your team. Then later on you kind of have to pick and choose your spots to actually do something with. But as you see with both of these matches, when I did that, I kind of had some blinders on and I forgot that other people were going to be there to shoot me. So it's not exactly an easy tank to play, but it's not as bad as many people make it out. It does have some really good upside. It's just the downsides can be a little difficult to cover, and if you don't play it exactly right for that match that you're in, you can have a lot of trouble playing it. I had no idea what that M4 was aiming at. I guess he might have been using auto aim. I have no clue. But overall, pretty decent game. Nothing stellar, but it's still top 3 damage. Didn't really get much experience, only top 4. Only because I didn't spot all my shots. And I soaked up a little bit of damage. But I did lose money because I was shooting APCR, which you kind of do need with tier 5 heavies, but you don't necessarily have to use as much as I would, only because it's really just for those tier 5s and 6 tanks if you aren't able to flank them as well. But anyway, thanks for watching my video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out my website, wotguru.com.